Hello, welcome back. If you're new, my name's Alex. Today I'm going to be swatching all of my concealers. For those of you who don't know, and I don't know who doesn't know at this point, I am a fair to light, depending on, what brands decide, olive skin-toned person. I lean on the warm olive side. Okay, so I've got a little bit more yellow in my skin. I recently did a swatch video of all of my foundations. Every time I say all of, I think olive now. It was so helpful to me because I figured out like what were my absolute best matches when I had them swatched on my bare skin, and I could compare in, not only this lighting, but also natural lighting, which is really important, so keep that in mind. So today I'm going to be swatching all of my concealers. Now, I'm a dark circle girl. I don't know if you can see these. I'm a dark circle girl, okay? If there's one thing I have, it's concealers. So it's gonna be a lot, okay? But we're gonna do our best. Let's just get into it, dude. Let's just get into it, all right? I'm gonna zoom you. We're gonna zoom right on in. All right, let's start off with Tarte Ultra Creamy. This is in the shade Light Sand. I don't have Shape Tape any longer. As I got a little bit older, I decided to move on to something that had a little bit more hydration. So I don't have that, but I believe in Shape Tape, I was also Light Sand. So I'm pretty sure that there's like a good crossover between shades. Sometimes it's inconsistent, you know what I mean? Like with ELF, we've got a couple ELF concealers, by the way, that we're gonna swatch. Ooh, what's my most olive concealer? Remember we did the benchmark thing? Let's just do them side by side. So we're gonna swatch, okay, and let them oxidize, all right? I have a lot, so I'm starting on the side of my face, which might be a little bit difficult to compare. But this is one of my favorite concealers because it has like a nice, in my opinion, it works really nicely with my like yellow, with the yellow in my skin. We're gonna let it obviously like oxidize and dry down, but immediately I feel like it has like a decent yellowy, maybe a little bit more neutral. There's like a teeny bit of peach in it, tone that works nicely with my skin. I'm gonna zoom out for this part. I need you to see my hands. Personally, when it comes to concealer, I'm a little less picky, okay? When it comes to something that is like super olive, I want my foundation to be that thing. Concealer, I'm brightening, I'm building up a little bit of coverage, usually underneath my eyes. So I feel like I can get away with something maybe a little bit more every single time I film. The second I start filming, the cat goes in the litter box and makes a ton of noise. Every single time. Every single time. And then I have to sit here and I have to wait and I forget everything that I was talking about. What the fuck is this thing? You done? I'm much more picky about my foundation being super olive. I want my like match to be perfect. That's like my ideal, okay? When it comes to concealer, I'm a little less picky, all right? Because for the most part, I'm just concealing underneath my eyes. I'm brightening underneath my eyes. Maybe I'm doing a little bit of spot concealing, but when it comes to spot concealing, I'm usually mixing anyway, so it doesn't, and also like when spot concealing, if you're dealing with redness, you're usually using like a color corrector or something. I'm just a little bit more lenient. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go through all of these swatches. Now that being said, if you are olive and you have a difficult time finding a foundation that does work for you, for instance, if it's maybe a little bit too on the neutral side, it ends up looking orange. Maybe it's too yellow on you because you're slightly more of a cool toned olive, then you want to think about your concealer in terms of like how to balance whatever your favorite foundation is. I've talked about this in a lot of different videos. It all has to do with color theory. It's a lot, all right? I have a feeling that the majority of these concealers are going to lean slightly more on the yellow side because in the past, my foundations have ended up looking a lot more like neutral on my skin tone. So I kind of balance that out by going like pretty yellow. And if you keep in mind the color wheel, it just kind of like helps to balance the tones. Anyway, let's zoom back in. PSA, okay, PSA. Oh, not that close. Okay, so Light Sand. You know what? It really didn't oxidize. Oh, where are you going? It didn't really oxidize that much, to be honest with you. I really do love that concealer. It's got great coverage. It's probably not as bright. Like it's pretty close to my skin tone, It's like a little bit lighter. Next up, let's try 170W from Rare Beauty, which has been kind of my go-to shade recently, which is very yellowy. In fact, upon first swatch, it makes light sand look pretty neutral. But that's why we're gonna let everything oxidize. Next up, Nougat by NARS, which is a little bit dark for me. I used this in a video recently. It's actually quite yellowy orange. I actually think I might start using it as a color corrector. You can see already that like that yellowy orange in comparison. Look at that. It's like neutral, yellow, orange. Just like right in a line. Okay, so that's Nougat NARS. Radiant Creamy, right? Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is the mini one, so I don't think it even has the name on it. It's this little guy. I bought a mini because I figured the color wouldn't work for me perfectly. Ooh, one of my faves also, L'Oreal Infallible. This is in the shade Ivory, 330 Ivory. This is one of my absolute, well, it's my absolute go-to favorite concealer when it comes to Drugstore. Okay. Looks pretty, obviously, like, we'll let it oxidize, but it's looking pretty similar to light sand, maybe slightly more yellow, a little bit lighter. It's kind of hard to tell at this angle upon first swatch, but maybe it's a little bit more yellow. Really beautiful, super similar to Tarte Shape Tape, really good coverage. Little, like slightly more matte than Tarte Ultra Creamy, obviously. Kosas recently sent me these concealers, oh God, I have so many of them. All right, so Kosas, we have Kosas. Let's start with O2W. So they redid their shades, I think, recently. This is Kosas O2W. Ooh, okay. Very orangey. More of a yellow orange, much less, not much less, but less red than, the hell is this, NARS and Nougat. You can see a lot more yellow, just like much deeper. Too deep in yellow for my skin tone. I mean deep, deep relatively, you know what I mean? That's O2W. Then we have these two that are fairly similar. So this is O1N, also Kosas. More neutrally, still seeing some orange in it, but much more on the neutral side than 1W. Was it 1W? Looking a lot similar to Tarte Ultra Creamy Light Sand. Maybe a little bit more peach, I can't really tell at this angle. And then we have 0.5 N. Okay, so we got a neutral dark. Okay, so you can look at that. So orange and dark, so orange. And then we've got a little bit more red in this one. Now we have a little bit more yellow, however, it's, you know, described as neutral. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of like orange, peach, neutral. Actually, it looks a little slightly more yellow toned than light sand, which is interesting. So that's 0.5 neutral. Wait, what was this color called? 1 neutral. Okay, interesting. The undertones seem so different. So 1 neutral has like way more red in it. It's very interesting. Next up, Fenty We're Even. This is the shade 120N. Okay. Woo! Lots of peach. Okay, nice fair shade, but very, very, very peach. Ooh, that is looking so olive. Ooh, okay, Kosas. Yeah, this one right here, Kosas, 0.05 N is looking so olive compared to like pretty much everything right now, now that I have this down. Can you see that? I'm gonna be very interested to see how these all oxidize. Okay, now let's go into O2 Fair Golden. This is from House Labs. This is their Tri-Tone, whatever the hell, concealer. Very fair, very yellow. Very yellow. Bro, that looks so olive. I'm like dying right now. Did we find Our new favorite concealer? Damn. Did they reformulated their just their shades? I can't remember if it was like a reformulation of the whatever. I'm gonna have to look it up. My only criticism would be that I don't think it's like a good like skin tone match for me. I don't know if that I could really use it to brighten, but maybe for just like concealing. That's crazy. Keep in mind that my face does have a teeny bit of redness on it, so things are going to look a little bit more olive than they might be. Okay, and then this is not an olive at all, but I just wanted to, I have it. I think I purchased these myself, so I wanted to have options because like you just never know when it comes to like shopping online. This is 04 Fair Neutral, which is like, I mean, so not the right color for me, but I have it, so let me show you if you were curious. Look at all the pink and the blue in there. Oh my God. Like I would not consider this a neutral concealer at all. I would say the jump, I'm making myself cough because I'm laughing so hard. House Labs. The jump from golden to neutral like is, I mean, I'm olive, so things end up looking like a lot more pink, a lot more blue on my skin tone. But in my opinion, I just feel like it's so pink and so blue. You know, compared to like the other other concealers that have been labeled as neutral. Isn't that crazy? All right, so that is 04 Fair Neutral. We're heading over to the other side. Okay, so this is what we have so far. We're gonna let it oxidize. We'll head over to the other side. I'm gonna start with the Givenchy. Hold on, I gotta loosen up my tongue before I can say this. Givenchy Prism Libre. I don't know if I'm gonna get any props from my French peeps, but this is in the shade W100. Okay, which when I look at it looks very, very yellow. Very, very yellow, pretty good. Let's let it oxidize. A little bit of orange in there, a little bit of orange. Did I put it too far to the side or is my face just wider over here? I think my face is a little bit wider. Rude. And then we have Givenchy N80, which I used in a video recently because I think 100W was a little bit dark for me. I like to brighten underneath my eyes. So lighter. Does look a little bit more on the neutral side. There's still some warmth to it. Isn't it so annoying how faces are different on different sides? Hold on. Okay, yeah, so 100W definitely has more yellow in it. Kind of a yellowy orange color. Okay, yeah, so 100W definitely has like a lot of like an orangey yellow in it. And N80, definitely more neutral, much more fair, obviously. So this is a shade that I really liked to brighten underneath my eyes, okay? It's obviously not like a perfect shade match for my skin tone, but as far as a brightening concealer, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And the formulas are very like lightweight and hydrating. So if that's something you're looking for, like, you know, I like the formula personally. I was looking in a mirror over here so that you could see it. If it looked like I was just like over there. Here is NYX Bear With Me Concealer. This was recommended to me a lot. This is in the shade Light, and people said it was so olive. So it's a little pump guy, so let's throw it down with a brush. Ooh, I remember using it. It is a little dark for me personally. Definitely looks like a slightly more cool toned olive upon first swatch. This has a little bit more yellowy green. A little bit more yellowy green. And this has slightly more, slightly more red blue. Ever so slightly. Remember, these are both like Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Wait, Can't Stop, Won't Stop? Bear With Me. Which one's the Can't Stop, Won't Stop? Doesn't matter. Bear With Me concealer. Definitely olive. I mean, look at it. It almost disappeared into my face. That being said, I do have a little bit more redness in my actual face than I do on my neck. So if I can just take this really quick. Actually, you know what? We'll save for the end. We'll take the most olive foundations and put them on my, or concealers, and put them on my neck to see how they compare. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Definitely more of a neutral cool tone. So if you're slightly more cool toned olive, you know, again, like, it's so pink. It's so pink. Neutral Gaga. Hello. It's so pink. It's so pink. If you're neutral and you use this though, you can yell at me. Feel free to yell at me. Okay, this one's straight up orange. And you know what? No, I need to, let me try to find my other ELF one because I bought two. The ELF concealers, the hydrating, the camo concealers, that's what it is. Is this pointing even? The camo concealers, whether it's the matte one or the hydrating one, which I have, the shades are so inconsistent, like so inconsistent. So if you buy some from the matte and then you try to get the creamy or the hydrating, they're like so, whatever, it doesn't matter. I gotta find the other one. I have two. Oh my God, I found, oh, it's the same one. Never mind. It's bullshit, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. Okay, 3 days later, couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. It's nowhere to be found. I know that things are gonna be missing from this video. That's really gonna bother me. However, I did find another NYX, bear with me. This one is in the shade Fair. So let's see how it, where are we going? Let's see how it compares to Light. Definitely looks more neutral. Obviously quite fair, quite light, quite light. Slimmer. What? Similar to Givenchy? Okay, a little more yellow. Okay, interesting. A little more yellow, not too much, not too yellow. It's looking pretty neutral to me. Pretty good. Mixed, they actually might be, maybe I could use that. All right, let's throw down this, this ELF concealer just so you can see it. This is light ivory. I was so disappointed when I bought it. I was so disappointed. Because I feel like light, first of all, the way it was described on the website, I wouldn't have purchased it had I known it would look like this. This is like very much my Makeup Forever experience. Which, by the way, in my foundation video, some of you were recommending a Makeup Forever foundation, but somebody said that it was only available on their website. Now I can't remember which one it was, but I'll have to go on there. I think I took a screenshot of the comment. Because that was a criticism of mine about Makeup Forever, is that I just feel like everything is like orange, pink, or like honestly, even the yellow stuff looks really, really orange. So this is light ivory. Very disappointed. Orange. Okay? Orange. Orange. But honestly, oh my God, that Kosas concealer, but like, you know, might be fantastic for someone who has like slightly deeper or like more medium or just like more tanned skin. Does medium come before tanned? When brands are like lining them all up, you know what I mean? They go like fair, light, medium, tan. Does that make sense? Tan feels like it should come before medium to me. And then deep. You know what I mean? Whatever. Anyway, for my skin tone, that's a no. That's a big no. Maybe to color correct. Maybe to color correct, which again, I was thinking about using Nougat to color correct. I kind of feel like, I think I like Nougat a little bit better because it contains a little bit more yellow. And this is just a little too, well, I don't know. I think it could work. But yeah, so that is a light ivory. And I was expecting something very different when I bought it. Next up, Neutralizer from Maybelline, okay, is I think described very much as like a yellow shade that's supposed to, a yellow concealer that's supposed to neutralize like purpley under eye circles. I remember that's how it was described. That's why I purchased it in the first place. This is broken. Doesn't it usually click? The fuck? Are you broken? Maybe it's broken. Let's just see if there's anything left in here. Oh God. Wait, I don't want to put this on my face. Is this like extremely expired? Ew. think that, okay. I think that the sponge is disintegrating on my face. I'm gonna take it off. That's nasty. That is nasty. Do I have any makeup wipes? I don't. Oh my God. Fuck. Trauma, the trauma. That was stressful. Okay. Okay. It's pretty yellow. That's what we're gonna say. Like, just trust me, it's pretty yellow. Fuck out of here. I picked up this concealer from Calli Ray, Hideaway Concealer. This is, the shade is Pale Sun. It's very yellowy. And it's specifically, I believe, specifically meant to be a brightening and hydrating under eye serum concealer, blah, blah, blah. I picked it up because I wanted something that I wanted something that I could potentially use as like a one-step situation. So I wanted something that was gonna be a little bit more yellow to just like color correct underneath my eyes. You know, I do have like purpley brownish kind of like under eye circles. There's a little bit of red under there, but like if I'm gonna pick one color to go for because of my skin tone, I'm gonna choose yellow. So that's why I bought it. And I used it the other day and it was okay. It was okay. So it is pretty yellow specifically. I mean, that's yellow. That's straight up, that's yellow. You know what I mean? That's a yellow concealer. Kosas, I'm really proud of you. I am. You might be getting the award today. I'm like really proud. Yeah. And for cool olives, NYX, I'm looking at you. Next up, Luna. Let's throw down Luna. So Luna is a Korean brand. I purchased this when I was in Japan, so it's probably not something that like a lot of people know about. This is, I believe, the lightest shade. It's in, I bought it when I was in Japan, so it's in Japanese. No wait, is this Korean? This is Korean. So yeah, I have no idea what, it's got SPF 30, which is nice. Anyway, I believe this is the lightest shade. I picked it up at a drugstore and I remember looking at them online. I believe it's the lightest shade. I think it's just light. So I will link it. I think you can get it on the Yes Style. Sometimes you can get it on Amazon. But I really liked the color. Oh, and it's got such good coverage. Okay, so much more neutral than this, which is like straight up yellow. But it's pretty yellow. It's got some yellow in it. It's just so funny to me. Like, look at the array here. It's crazy. It's fascinating to go online and look up something that's supposed to be neutral. Because like a lot of these concealers are meant to be neutral, you know, and how different they look. It's just so funny to me. So I would say that this is like kind of like a nice warm, light vanilla kind of color. I personally really like it for my skin tone. Next up, another NYX concealer. We have Can't Stop, Won't Stop. That's what I was thinking of. And this one is in the shade Fair. Thought I had one, but you know, I got a lot of stuff missing right now. This is very fair. Woo, very fair. Definitely some yellow in it. Ever so slightly more. Right now, it's more fair and ever so slightly more neutral than the House Labs one that was super yellow, you know, that is super yellow. But it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely got quite a bit of yellow in it compared to NYX Fair, you know. NYX Fair is looking much more neutral. Two more, guys, we're almost there. Okay, so this is the Sephora Best Skin Ever Glow Concealer. I'm so disappointed. Sephora recently discontinued, as far as I know, I was looking and they are completely gone, their gel serum concealers, and I think they've replaced them with this, which is a damn shame because fondant was my favorite. And I'm still gonna use it. You guys should just know that. But they're no more. So how am I supposed to even include them? You know what I mean? So we're just gonna be depressed over here. And angry at Sephora because those shades were a hell of a lot easier to navigate than this. I picked this one up. It's so light. This is 06. How was this described? I can't remember. I think it was described as like, I don't know, fair, warm probably. And it was like straight up white. It's so, now if you're extremely fair, then, you know, there you go. But it was too late for me, so I was a little upset. Okay, so very, very light, looking pretty yellow. Again, similar-ish, you know, to this guy. I'll have to let it oxidize before I can really tell the difference. And then finally, I wanted to swatch for you this concealer from Jecca Black, which is the liquid concealer in 2. Super full coverage, okay? Really, really great coverage. I guess it's not as olive as I remember. It's pretty neutral. Yeah, it's pretty neutral, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Very full coverage concealer, very full coverage. So if you're just looking for something like really, really full coverage, just the Jecca Black concealers in general are really nice. It's like war paint. I feel like the Joker, which by the way, I'm so excited about that new movie. I can't wait to see it. Gaga looks amazing. Oh, no. There was one more. There was one more that I wanted to swatch for you. Bare Mineral, oh my God, I fucking can't speak today. Hold on. Bare Minerals Well Rested. A little bit annoying. They only have 2 shades. They have like this one that's like for light people, and then they have one other one that's supposed to be for like all deep skin. Bare Minerals, we need more shades, okay? It's super unrealistic. Like you have a million foundations, maybe come out with a couple more shades of this, but maybe it doesn't sell a lot, I don't know. For me, it's one of those sleeper products. I use it randomly all the time. I picked it up the first time because I don't know, I don't remember why I bought it. I was interested and it looked like a pretty good tone. So I'm just gonna pick it up so we can like really see the color. So it's obviously a mineral powder. So there's like a thick swatch of it. And then let's do like a more blended swatch. Okay, so you can see that it's got like a pretty decent yellow tone to it. It's slightly dark for my skin tone, but I really like using it in, especially when I'm like spot concealing. If I have areas, which like right now I absolutely do. I'm going through a skin situation, readjusting. Yeah, I really like using it for just like extra coverage randomly in like little, you know, spot concealing areas, or sometimes I'll use it underneath my eyes if I feel like my concealer just isn't doing it or I haven't been sleeping, which I have not been sleeping. Yellow tone, slightly orangey, slightly on the orangey side, you know, but it's not bad. So much orange happening over here. That is so red. You know, comparatively, it's like terracotta. Okay, all right, let's insert some photos in natural light. The first one we started with, Tarte Ultra Creamy Light Sand, is looking like pretty neutral. A little bit more on the warm side, right? Personally, I think it's a pretty good match for my skin tone, especially if I am wearing a foundation that's a little bit more on the yellow side. Now next to it, we can see Rare Beauty has a lot more yellow in it, all right? So if say my foundation is leaning a little bit more on the neutral side, I can help to balance those tones in my skin with a slightly more yellow concealer. This is a really great option for that. Obviously, if you are a slightly more cool toned olive, then you probably want to go with something a little bit more neutral and less yellow toned. Next to it, we have Nougat from NARS, which is pretty orange, as we can see. I personally wouldn't recommend this for people who are particularly olive unless you have a darker skin tone than me and you're looking to just kind of neutralize your under eyes. For my skin tone, it's definitely not the best. Next to that, we have L'Oreal Infallible in Light Ivory. Pretty neutral. You can see if we compare it to Ultra Creamy by Tarte, it's definitely got a little bit more blue, so it's slightly more cool toned than Tarte, but they're pretty close. They're both pretty neutral concealers. Light Ivory is just like a little bit more, got a tiny bit more blue in it. Next to that is Kosas 1W, which is so incredibly yellow-orange. Definitely not a good match for my skin tone at all. Might be better for those of you who are light to medium, light going, you know, closer to medium. You have a lot of gold in your skin. Maybe you're a little bit more tan. Then we have 01N again from Kosas, which is, I would say, pretty neutral tone. If, as you can see, like compared to the one next to it, the one on the left, it's definitely got a little bit more peachy tone to it. I would say it's a pretty true neutral concealer. Next to it, we have such, I mean, an absolute winner. I'm loving this concealer. I'm so happy with it. 0.5 N from Kosas. I would say that this is the winner. This is such a beautiful olive tone. I love it. It's like not too cool toned, not too warm. You know, there isn't too much yellow in it. You can really see that green. It looks like, it's kind of fun. You can pick the olive concealers out because they look like gray or kind of dead next to some of the other colors, you know? But God, that is so, it's perfect. I'm so happy with that color. I really like it a lot. Again, I think it's like a perfect match for my skin tone. I don't know that I would brighten with it. I would probably just do concealing. But that is a really good match. Next to it, wow, very peachy, okay? Very, very peachy. This is 120N from Fenty. So you can see, obviously, on my skin tone, you really see a lot of that orange, a lot of that peach. There's definitely less yellow in it. Not good for me. May be okay for color correcting underneath the eyes. Then we have O2 Fair Golden, which definitely pretty yellow. I mean, it's very stark because it's between Fenty and then the neutral concealer from About Face. So it's really, that yellow is really popping. Honestly, I think the color is like pretty decent for my skin, especially if I want to brighten, you know? So like, I kind of feel like I could possibly use the Kosas concealer to like conceal my dark circles and then maybe use the Haus Labs one to do some brightening. I kind of like, I like the idea of that combination, because if I am going to brighten, then I pretty much always want things to be like slightly more on the yellow side. Then obviously next to it, we have Haus Labs 04 Fair Neutral, which in my opinion is not, I wouldn't consider this to be a very neutral concealer, but maybe it is compared to their cool toned concealers. It's very, I mean, if anyone has any doubts that I'm olive, just compare this to my skin tone. Like, it is straight up like blue pink on my skin, you know? Next to that, we have a thick swatch of Well Rested, which obviously you can see like a really golden, kind of a little bit more orangey tone in it. And then the softer swatch, obviously, you know, basically the same thing. It works okay when it's sort of like blended out a little bit. Okay, once again, starting on like the very edge of my face, we have Givenchy. This is W100, which is pretty yellow, definitely very yellow toned. Even for my skin, I think that the yellow tone is okay. It's just like, it's slightly dark for my personal skin tone. Then next to that, we have N80, which is a little bit more, I mean, it's much lighter and a little bit more on the neutral side, which again, it's like got maybe a little too much pink in it. But again, if I'm wearing a foundation that's like slightly more on the yellow side, then I think it would be a pretty decent match. Or even if I'm just wearing this concealer and nothing else, it's not like it's not too terrible. I don't think that it pops out as too pink on me. Next to that, we have NYX Bear With Me Light, which is pretty decent. I mean, look at that. It just kind of like, I mean, if you squint, it just disappears into my skin compared to the rest of them. It's definitely more on the cool tone side. I think that it fits on my face a little bit better because, like I said, I have a little bit more redness in my face. As I'm comparing it to like my neck, I can definitely see that it's just like a little bit too cool tone. It's got a little bit too much of that, like, I'm thinking paint colors, alizarin crimson. That's what I'm thinking right now. A little too much crimson. But it's not bad. It's not bad. So if you're a cooler toned olive, I think it would be a good option. And then next to that, obviously, we have Fair, also Bear With Me by NYX, which is a little bit more yellow toned, obviously much lighter. I like that. I think it would be really nice on my skin tone for brightening. It's definitely a little bit more on the neutral side, but it contains enough yellow that I think it would work for my skin. And then next to that, we have this abomination, which is, I don't know why I'm being so harsh on it. Like that one from Kosas is like basically the same thing. This is the Light Ivory from, Light Ivory, like how is that Light Ivory? I just don't understand. ELF. It's like straight up peach, but whatever. Quite peach. Next to that, we have Calli Ray in Pale Sun, obviously very yellow. That's the point of it. It is meant to, it's their hideaway concealer. It's meant to color correct. So pretty liquidy looking, huh? Definitely very liquidy, very lightweight. I liked the formula. I don't know if it really did that much for me. I don't know. I'll have to keep you guys updated on that. Next to that, we have Luna, which is such a good, I don't know. It's not like so incredibly olive, but it is. You know what I mean? Like compared to the other ones, I'm looking at it, like I'm trying to compare it to the NYX one. It's got a little bit more warmth. It's obviously a little bit lighter. I think it's really nice for my skin tone. It's slightly more neutral than my actual skin tone, but as far as a concealer goes, I think it's pretty decent. Next to that, we have Can't Stop Won't Stop from NYX. This is in Fair, which is a little bit on the yellow, very like a very fair vanilla kind of color, which I like. Slightly more neutral than like a very yellow concealer. Can kind of go both ways, you know. I think it's like a pretty decent color. Just like, I don't know, I could pretty much only use it for brightening. It's very, very light. Next to that, we have Sephora Best Skin Ever Glow Concealer in 06, which is more yellowy than the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop. Definitely more yellowy. I don't know if I'm like wild about the formula. It's a little bit too runny for me personally. But yeah, fair yellow for sure. And then next to that, we have Jecca Black. And that is in the shade 2, which is definitely a neutral concealer. Super full coverage, okay? Really great coverage. And while it is neutral, it's not terrible on my skin. I often mix this in with other concealers to spot conceal, actually. Okay, let's take the winners and swatch them on my neck. Yeah, I think those are the 3 winners. Maybe I'll throw in House Labs, the really light yellow one, just as a bonus, because it's very fair, but I just feel like it's a good one. Okay, so my neck, so the reason that we're swatching on my neck is because I have redness in my face, okay? All of us have a little bit of redness in our face, whether it's just like a little bit of redness around our nose, or we have like, you know, breakouts and stuff like that. I have like a little bit of redness on my cheek. You can see my chin is a little bit red right now. I don't have any redness on my neck, with the exception of like, whatever that is. So, Kosas 0.5N. I don't know why I can't say that. I'm happy with this concealer. I'm very happy with it. Next, let's do NYX. Can't Stop, Won't Stop. No, wait, bear with me. I don't know why I keep messing it up. Stop, won't stop. Don't mix them. Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Luna. Ooh, Luna has so much orange compared to the other ones. Interesting. And then House Labs. House Labs O2 Fair. Wait. O2 Fair Golden. Isn't it so funny how much more neutral Kosas looks on my neck? Look at that. It looks so much more neutral on my neck than it does up here. And NYX looks so much more like pinky on my neck. Okay, so here is the natural light photo. So obviously Kosas is definitely like, it's looking a little bit more on the neutral side on my neck, but it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And then it's pretty much, you know, all the stuff that I said. The NYX light Bear With Me concealer it's a little bit more cool toned, ever so slightly more like neutrally, but I think it would be pretty good for a more cool toned olive. Luna has got a little bit more orange in it. And then obviously House Labs is pretty fair and it has like a lot of yellow, but it's not bad. It's definitely more on the yellow side than Kosas, but if you're very, very, very fair, very, very fair olive, then it might be like a pretty decent match for you for like concealing and brightening. All right, guys, that's it for these swatches. I hope that this was helpful in some way for everybody out there. I know that everybody really appreciated my foundation swatch video. So I would say, and I appreciated it. I'm like so glad that I swatched those Kosas concealers, because look at how different they are. I mean, they're so incredibly different. And that one in particular, 0.5 neutral, is like such a good match. It's such a good match. I love it so much. So I'm definitely going to be using that. Yeah, it's making me want to revisit some things and also get rid of some things that I definitely don't need. I don't need any of these orange concealers. This I really don't need. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe and comment and let me know and all that stuff. Subscribe. Let me know if you want to see any other swatch videos. Let me know if you want to see like a bronzer swatch video, a contour swatch video. Just whatever you want to see, let me know and I'll do it. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Farewell.